That was mine, yeah.
So I think you're connected now?
Yeah, I'm on with you, yeah. But that's not to the...
We're back?
Some boundary flicked off his hips to the leg side for 4. And now Callum McLeod facing. Another good delivery. Callum just blocking it to the 3rd slip there. The weather seems to be holding out for us. There's not too much rain anymore. It looks like the clouds are slowly passing over. And the Scotland score is 13 for 2 off 8 overs. And this time successfully guided down to 3rd man for 1.
I just left you there for a moment, George. Sorry, are you all right? Is everything okay?
I was having lots of fun.
Oh, good. Yeah, 2 for 14 here in the 9th over. Bowled again from Tanvir Afzal. His figures are pretty impressive here. Just gone for the 3 runs into his 5th over. Have you come up much against Tanvir before?
No, not myself personally. I think most of the lads will have. Looks like he's got a slightly interesting action, slightly unconventional, but it seems to be working very well so far in the first few overs.
Yeah, he's bowled very straight. I think on this wicket, it's probably the place to bowl. Did the Scottish boys at the halfway mark talk about the pitch?
Yes, we spoke about the pitch. Only in good news, really. Positive things. It looked like once you get yourself in, it looks a lot easier to bat on. But it's just, like I say, getting yourself in and preparing yourself for some hard runs.
Yeah, if anything, it looked like the ball was holding up a fraction. So that's why I'm particularly interested to see how the Hong Kong spinners go, because even from the part-timer Callum McLeod, it did appear to be a bit of turn there. So I don't think it'll be too long before Hong Kong turn to the spinners, who've got a very different balance to their attack compared to Scottish boys who've predominantly seam bowls, although perhaps missing frontline spinner today who had to go home for birth of a child.
Yes, that was Con De Lang. He's gone home to be with his newborn Rory. Wishing them all the best out here.
Bowled again from Tanvir, just back of a length. Tough to get that away. 9 overs gone, 2 for 13. The rain just spitting a little bit harder. And for those not aware, we can actually continue this game into tomorrow. So whilst we need another 11 overs to make this a result match, we do have not only until about 5:30 this afternoon, although it'll be pretty dark at that stage, I think, but we also have tomorrow as a reserve day where we can resume the match. So the forecast isn't great for tomorrow either, but hopefully somewhere between now and the next 24 hours we can find at least 11 overs from somewhere. And probably for Scotland's sake, you might hope there's a few more to help try and rebuild this innings.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think for cricket's sake as well, we need to get as much as we can out of this game, and for Hong Kong hosting, it's been, a brilliant few days. They've looked after us really well, and it's been a a fantastic opportunity to come out here. It's just a shame the weather's let us down.
Yeah, a couple of runs there. I think to Preston no, it was Callum McLeod there, just tucking that one onto the onside. Yeah, it's been a frustrating one. I noticed that Scotland have had 2 washouts already in the Cricket League Championship, so not a lot of luck for you guys so far.
Yeah, that was back in September of last year when we went to play Holland in Holland. Managed to get the I-Cup game in the week before, and then it came to the white ball stuff the following week, and every day there was a little bit of rain except for the training day.
It's always the way. Oh yeah, yesterday was the only day where the sun was out here in Hong Kong, although I think the square may have needed that day to recover from an absolute battering over the weekend. And it's Hazib Amjad continuing here. 4 overs none for 10 before this one. Just looking ahead to the targets that Scotland need to be at 20 overs if we do get that far. After 20 overs being 2 down, Scotland would need to be at 85. That's after 20 overs. They're currently on 16 after 9, so it'll be a pretty big effort to get there in the next 11. If they lose a third wicket, 103 will be the pass score at 20 overs. So I guess at this stage, though, you're just looking to bat normally and perhaps keep that sort of equation out of your mind. Leave that to the commentators.
Exactly. It's easy for us sitting up here, you know, looking down on the pitch and saying what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. But I mean, the guys out there will be just looking to get themselves back in. They've just come off for a rain delay, and they'll be trying to work out what's the best way we can go about this game right now and how we're going to score our runs.
And what is that right now?
I would love to tell you. The way I'd be going about it would be look to be very positive, and I think these guys will take the same message out there. They'll be looking to get themselves in and then looking to dominate.
Oh, it's in the air. There's a man getting around there. Should take it and does. That's a good catch. That was Aziz out there at square leg. A wicket to Hazib Amjad. And unfortunately for Scotland, just as you're looking to rebuild, it's the skipper too, Preston Momsen. He's fallen, trying to be positive as you suggested, George, but unfortunately it's brought about his downfall, and Scotland are 3 for 17 in the 10th over.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Preston. He's a very good player with the short ball. He latches onto anything normally. It looked like it got a little bit stuck in the pitch, and it just changed the way he wanted to play the shot, and that was his downfall, unfortunately.
Azim there taking the catch. With Hasib getting the breakthrough. And it was a deserved wicket for him. He'd been pretty tidy up to that point, with just the 13 runs coming from his bowling at the end of his 5th over. Richie Barrington now coming to the crease for Scotland. Plenty of experience, 45 one-day internationals, and I imagine he'd be a key man for you in the batting lineup.
No, definitely. He's one of our most experienced batters, along with Kyle, but there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders for this game carrying forth, but he's probably one of the guys we'd choose to be in this situation. Yeah, unfortunately, wickets to fall so far for Scotland. The experienced man at the top of the order, Kyle Kurtz, was the first to fall. He was knocked over by Tanveer Afzal, and then next ball, it was Machin. First ball, who nicked one through to Jamie Atkinson off Tanveer Afzal, who was on a hat-trick. It's 2 for 8 at that stage. Now Preston Momsen, the skipper, gone for 5. So Callum McLeod, the opener, still there. He's on 6 off 23 deliveries. He's kind of just got to hang in there now and start rebuilding. No, definitely. He's fighting hard for Scotland here. He's prepared to dig in, and he's taken very low risk options, which is nice to see.
And it looks like we are going to see some spin. We didn't think it'd take too long. It's Nadeem Ahmed. No, it won't be Nadeem Ahmed. He's got the ball in his hand, but he's offloaded it to Tanveer. He's going to continue. I think maybe he's just sending the skipper a message there that he's ready for a bowl. Doesn't want the ball to get too wet before he comes on.
Typical bowler, that, isn't it?
Yeah, just stand it next to the umpire with the ball in your hand.
Take the cap off.
Make the commentator look like a goose. Oh, is that a nick there? I heard a noise. Not given. Richie Barrington looking back down at the bowler as if to say, I didn't hit that. It certainly was very close. I did hear a noise, but it does, judging by the batsman reaction, he's certainly selling that he didn't hit it. So should we believe him?
I'm always going to say you should, but he didn't look back to the keeper, which is normally a giveaway sign, and he carried on looking straight at the pitch, and it made a funny noise as well. It wasn't a genuine sort of woody noise. It was quite a thick thud.
Bowled again from Tanvir. He's been outstanding here in this opening spell. The skipper for Hong Kong. He's been in good form over the last 12 months. 5.2 overs, 2 for 4. That is giving your team a very good start.
Credit where credit's due. He's bowled very tight. He's bowled some good areas, and he's put a lot of pressure on the batsmen as we're watching.
Just got onto the legs a little bit there. Put away by Barrington, and the outfield might have just slowed up a little bit with that rain coming down for the last hour or so. Little flick up going wrong on the boundary. Didn't cost any runs.
Fumble there.
CEO Tim Cutler's having a chuckle.
Like we always say, it's easy from over here, isn't it?
It is. That's why we're sitting here. So at this point, 19-20 for 3 in the 11th over. Is it the batsmen going to be getting a little bit edgy, like they want to pick up this scoring rate? They won't want to see the required rate. It is over 6 now. They won't want to see it get too much higher than that at this early stage.
Yeah, I think there will be probably a few more nerves, but at the same time we back our skills, and we back the players out there, and we also back the players that are still yet to come in. We've got a very good batting lineup, and we've got a few guys, especially in the middle right there, who we back to go get a big score and to see this home for us.
Yeah, one thing about cricket here in Hong Kong, if you do get set in, the boundaries straight are pretty short, so if you get in the groove, you can pick up the rate pretty quickly, and we did see that in Hong Kong's innings. They were ticking it over at sort of 3 and 4 and over early in their innings, and managed to get it up to 5 pretty quickly with a few good overs. Again, good bowling from Tanvir Afsay. Really has been hard to put away. He's just been that awkward length. Batsman not sure whether to go forward or back. Richie Barrington just, in fact, sorry, Callum McLeod just remonstrating with himself there over a missed opportunity perhaps. That ends the over, and it's 3 for 20 after 11 overs. And here's Nadeem Ahmed. He's coming in, unless he's going to stand next to the umpire again and not bowl, but I think on this occasion we will see spin. Be very interested to see what purchase he's able to get off this wicket.
Very interested to see the bounce and the speed it spins as well, because the way Callum bowled is quite almost slow spin and a bit extra bounce, so it'll be interesting to see from a full-time spinner what he's getting out of the wicket.
Yeah, left arm spin up. He's been Hong Kong's first choice spinner for a while now. There are plenty of options in the spin department, so I imagine Nadeem Ahmed would have bowled here at Mission Road on a number of occasions. He'll be familiar with this pitch and the conditions, and of course we haven't mentioned that so much today, but all of Hong Kong's players regularly playing here in their domestic cricket, well aware of how the pitch plays and what sort of totals are par for the course. I can't imagine any Scottish players would have had a run here before, so it's all new to them, so a bit of an advantage there for the home side.
No, definitely. There's only a few of the Scotland lads who have played in the Hong Kong Sixes just a few years ago when that was up and running, and that was at Kowloon Cricket Club, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, one of the club grounds here in Hong Kong. Very nice facility indeed. Nadeem Ahmed, as you predicted George, a bit of slow turn there off the pitch.
Yeah, this could be down to a little bit of rain that we've had, and also the nature of the pitch not being used the last few weeks. Been under cover for that long.
Yeah, I think going to have to really push it through to ensure the ball doesn't just sit up. And might want to drop short. That's it there. Edge, but it's going to run away. That'll probably go for 4, actually. It's pretty short down there, and it does race away.
Good to see the intent of the batsman's not changed. I know we've lost a few wickets, but Richie looking to come forward there and play a nice aggressive shot over the top. Not quite getting to the pitch of it, but got away with it like you do in your early part of your innings. You need a little bit of luck here and there.
Absolutely. Yeah, a little bit of turn there. Just might have beaten him in flight too. That's Richie Berrington on strike here. High score of 101 not out. That'll be handy now.
Always. It'll be handy for one of these guys to stick in through the innings and just let everyone build around them.
Plenty of experience. 46 ODIs for Richie Berrington, 34 for Callum McLeod. So they've played plenty of cricket at this level.
Two very good guys for us to have at the crease. Like you said, a lot of experience with ODIs, a lot of experience in the World Cup as well for both of them, which is a big learning curve for associate cricket, is when you get to the World Cup and you prove yourself against the bigger countries.
That's well bowled. It's the boundary from the over. 4 runs off it. First for Nadeem Ahmed. The score now is 3 for 24 after 12. So do you set any targets when you're chasing these runs? If the coaches say we want to be at this point, at this many overs, do you break it down?
I don't think you can really set targets when you're chasing.
You do have a target.
Well, there's a final target, of course, but the way you look to go about it, every game's different. You've got different obstacles to get through. Right now, we're looking at a rain break. You've got the pitches acting a little bit differently now, so the guys will be looking to assess out there to start with, and then sort of relay targets back to the dressing room and to really look for the guys out in the middle to set these targets and to decide how they're going to go about it.
Another good ball there from Tanvir. I notice Callum McLeod is batting a long way out of his crease, trying to put Tanvir off his line and length. But, Tanvir was up to it there, just straight on the money first ball this over.
Callum McLeod he's a Durham cricketer. He's a wealth of experience in county cricket now, and he has his own ways, his own unique ways, as a lot of these guys do.
Good to hear from Mariko Hill. Of course, the Hong Kong women's team went down to the Melbourne Renegades. Spent time with that squad. She's tuning in. So she's just tweeted at us. So hello to you, Mariko. Hope you enjoyed your time in Australia.
It's hard not to enjoy your time in Australia, isn't it, really?
Well, I am biased, but I have just moved from there to live here, so, you know, must say something.
You're saying this with 7 jackets on?
7 jackets, and I've got, would you know, I've got 2 pairs, well, I don't have 2 pairs of pants on, I've got skins plus pants. So I needed a bit of extra insulation today. I think probably hovering around the 9-10 degrees mark at the moment. A good ball there from Tanvir.
It's a very generous guess, that is.
Oh, well, look, I got it up here. It looks like it's 11.7 to be precise. So
feeling about 5.
Yeah, feels like 4. Well, I've been on for a while here, so I think it's about time I take my leave. I see Camber. He looks keen. He's been just hovering over my right shoulder here. And when's my turn? When's my turn? I'm just like, okay, Camber, you can come in here. Tanvir continuing to bowl well. I'll finish this over off. One more ball to go in the over. Tanvir Afzal, 6.5 overs, 2 for 8. Giving his team the perfect start. The required rate for Scotland edging up towards sort of 6.3 and over now.
That won't affect these two out in the middle. They'll be looking to assess the conditions a little bit more and just come up with a plan between them.
That's well bowled again from Tanvir. So that ends the over. Hand over to Ryan Campbell here. It's 3 for 26 after 13 overs.
Thanks, Maxie. You might want to take your mountain of food that you left behind, mate. Always having a nip at me, Maxie. Then he leaves the microphone in my hand. That was a mistake.
Bit of banter on and off the field never hurts.
Of course. Happy Australia Day to everyone tuning in from Australia. Maxie, of course, is from the worst side of Australia, that East Coast mob. Carry on like pork chops. Best parts on the WA side. Just need to put a big wall up or a big fence to keep them all out.
So that drive across surely stops people.
Generally, yeah, generally. Nadeem Ahmed to continue. He's bowling quite fast.
He's bowling fast, but it looks like very slow turn, as we were saying earlier. So he's probably trying to get the most out of the pitch, and he's probably thinking that a little bit quicker might help that.
As well, its boundary behind him is very short. So if he's going to err, and he has, and that'll be 4, he'll pay the price. Bit short, sat up. And a good boundary, a much needed one for Scotland.
That's Richie Barrington, so strong off the back foot, especially against spin. Has a great weight distribution and plays it so late under his eyes. Effortless bang.
Yeah, I like that. I think when playing spin, a lot of people talk about coming down the wicket and all that sort of stuff, but I think if you use your crease well, you can change the length anyway without actually just running down and charging at someone.
No, definitely, especially on the slower pitches, when sometimes you can get caught out by the bounce and also by the flight of the bowlers. Sometimes they tend to bowl a little bit slower on the slower ones to stop this. So it's good to see him just rocking back and playing nicely off the back foot here.
Yeah, absolutely. It did bring a change to the field. There's a deep point now, and again, you play a good shot, boundary scored, suddenly one extra player from the ring goes out to become a boundary rider. Therefore, a single in the circle's available, and there it is, right where that spot would be, and a good rotation of strike.
It's like you could read their minds, exactly what they're thinking.
They're tuned in, mate. They are tuned in. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I heard Maxie say it's 11.3 officially in Hong Kong right now. I'm telling you, that must be in someone's oven, because there's no way it's 11.3 here. Again, I heard you say that Callum McLeod has his own way. It's a unique batting style. He looks. I noticed with the faster bowlers, he like to run the ball down to third man. It's tight bottom hand grip. Likes to work it away.
He's got a very interesting technique, but I tell you what, it works. He plays the ball so late and runs it so well down to third man. That's a big scoring area for him. And against spin, he's also a very good sweeper. He hits a hard sweep shot. It comes from his hockey. He plays. Very strong hockey player. You know what, now that you say hockey, I can see that. I can definitely see with it the way he sets up, the way he uses that bottom hand. But I think that's one of the things we all love about this game is you can all have your own technique and you just work it out for yourself, and it caters for everyone. No, exactly. Callum's a very sporty guy. He plays golf as well. He says he's a very good golfer. Yep. He says. I'm yet to see it. He works hard on his golf, and he plays a lot of hockey to stay fit, and he's a very hard worker of his cricket. He loves what he does, and you can see a bit of all sports coming out of him, especially on the bigger shots, and you'll see a nice little flourish of a finish. Yep, absolutely. Well, Tanvir Afzal, the skipper, will continue. He does like bowling longer spells. So far, 7 overs, 2 for 9. If he can get through his 10,
Generally, Hong Kong like him to get through up front, and they back their bowlers towards the back end to do the job at the end.
You don't see that very often anymore, especially when the times are going with the T20 cricket. Short over spells and coming in at the end, your best bowlers. So it's interesting to see that they choose to bowl them all the way through. Yeah,
it is. Again, I think T20's changed so much about cricket that, you know, in the past, if you told a fast bowler who's bowling 1 over, they'd almost cry down at fine leg.
They'll turn the other way, wouldn't they?
Yeah, not talking to me, Captain. You're not talking to me. But he's continuing working it to the onside. They'll have a little look at 2. That might have been disaster.
And there you go. You see again his very whippy wrist coming into action there. Coming a fairly, not too straight ball, but fairly straight ball, and working it very square on the leg side.
Yeah, it's like I say, everyone's got their own way, and this looks a system that he's used to, and he works it well. Again, bang on the money. I'd love to see his pitch map of where he's delivered this. Might have to ask Wilson, the Hong Kong's analyst, after the game, because it's been a great grouping so far.
I'm sure there's a hole on the pitch that will tell you. It's just banging away, top of off. It's been a very good opening spell from Hong Kong's point of view.
Quite a few spectators making their way down to the ground. I just noticed off behind this marquee there's quite a few locals watching their cricket. Of course, some of them don't quite understand that you're not supposed to walk in front of that big black thing behind the bowler's arm. There has been a number of deliveries from Tanvir that has taken inside edges of the batsman. Just suggests to me there is a little bit of nippage off the wicket, maybe a little bit of that rain just affecting the surface.
No, definitely. He's also bowling very straight and proven to be very hard to get away, and these guys are trying to work out a way to get off strike, and they're choosing to try and run it down, which can lead to an inside edge like we've just seen.
Again, they finally do get that down to third man. It's a pretty simple action, Tanvir Afzal, very repetitive. Not too much can go wrong with it.
Extremely fluid.
Yeah, I think it's what we would call as a coach, someone that you could replicate. You know, not too many things are going to go wrong. And he knows his strengths. He's not the fastest bowler in the world. He understands that. On the subcontinent wickets, when they go to, you know, the T20 World Cups and stuff, I've seen Jamie Atkinson will stand up to the stumps for him just to stop batsmen running at him. And as we see there, it's a bit of a shorter delivery. So, you know, he does accept his role in the team, and he does it very, very well.
You say that, but the way Callum's batting out of his crease, he's almost 3 foot down. I'm surprised not to see the wicketkeeper Atkinson come up to the stumps yet.
Yeah, generally he does too. He's pretty quick to come up there. He has had a number of finger issues though, Jamie Atkinson. I always talk to him about his poppadom fingers. It doesn't take much to break them, let me tell you. Mustn't have drunk enough milk as a child or something, but he's had a number of issues with those fingers, that's for sure.
Another big man made of glass.
Nadeem Ahmed will continue. 3 for 33, Scotland, as he's pushing for 1 there. It's good batting, rotating the strike nicely here, the Scottish batsman.
And there you go, you see again another interesting looking shot, but very effective for Callum. Just looking to work it on the onside there, just to keep the strike rotating.
Three for 36 from 16.1 overs. It's a good contest. And again, we saw Hong Kong lose early wickets, but just got to form a partnership. Don't panic. Relax. Yes, if there's rain in the area, guess what? You can't control that. Let's just get a partnership going, cool heads, get us back in the game.
I couldn't agree more. Just looking to rotate strike. Not too many big shots coming out as of yet. I'm sure there's a few looking around the corner, but like you say, keep cool, keep rotating the strike, and go from there. Is not a bad plan to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good lesson for youngsters if you're watching in. Never panic. Whatever it is, make sure you hang in there because you never know what's around the corner. I'll tell you one thing, you can't fix the game or get your side out of the trouble if you sit in the sheds.
No, certainly not.
Short. Mix up, bowler's end, could be trouble. Safe. First time there's actually been a little mix-up between the Scottish duo.
Yeah, unusual for these two. They normally run really well together, but you know, there's the game of cricket. Anything can happen. It's funny, we're just talking about cool heads. A little mix-up here and there.
Mate, you straight in the commentary box, you got the commentator's curse already. As soon as you say something good, something bad's going to happen.
As a player yourself, you can't believe that.
Absolutely not. Righto. Another over down, 16 gone. Interesting stage of the match. Remembering, there is a little bit of weather around. 20 overs, the match is officially on. So Hong Kong need to bowl 4 more overs, and this is an official match.
No, that's very correct. But it also runs into tomorrow. I know the weather doesn't look too good tomorrow, but you can't rely on worrying about the weather here and there. You just got to go with the situation in front of you. It's not raining at the moment. These guys are building a partnership, and they're starting to rotate strike nicely. And I'm sure that a few more shots will come forth, and a few boundaries will come along the way.
Well, you know him better, but I've got a feeling when Callum McLeod hits them, they're going to go a long way. Afsal will continue. There you go, bang, on the toes, over mid-wicket, 4 runs, thank you very much.
Hopefully you won't hear this after the game, but he's hit some of the longest balls I've seen, and it's to do with the golf-hockey combo.
You know he's recording this, don't you?
It wouldn't surprise me as the person that he is, watches back everything.
What has it been like? You blokes, we spoke about it earlier, but you know, you have been under the pump with rain, stuck in hotels rooms, good banter going on with the lads.
Yeah, we were saying this earlier. We've got a really good squad. Great vibe in the dressing room. It is tough though. You know, you're going from hotel to hotel as Callum just defends another tight pitch delivery. Yeah, it's just you keep moving about. Living out a suitcase is the common phrase that's thrown about, but we get on with it. We really enjoy it. We come to a place like Hong Kong. We've never been before. Most of us have never been before. We see some fantastic views and experience a culture that, you know, if we weren't playing cricket, we might not get. So.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to know culture and Hong Kong culture, just ask Tim Cutler. Loves his Wan Chai. Very, very good exponent of experiencing life in Hong Kong is our CEO, Tim Cutler. He doesn't let anything in the club. He'll go hiking, he'll go swimming, he'll have a beer here or there.
Yeah, fortunately enough, he took us to the races last week and
there you go.
Showed us some of that culture, which was fantastic, and it was a great privilege to be there. And
mate, you should be
thankful.
privileged. The invite list was pretty tough to get on, let me tell you. Some of us who do like the races got very well left out in the rain. Afsal again continuing on into his 9th over now, just 2 for 16, fantastic.
And a lovely looking shot there from Callum.
We'll get through one more over with George, or Henry to his mates, that we're starting to call him now. Let him get back to the dressing rooms after this, but as again, Afsal keeps just nagging away.
Extremely tight this morning, extremely tight, I should say, this afternoon. He's made it very hard for us to get the ball away and also to get the singles away, and that's the key here. We need lots of little singles, and the bad balls will come. We're just struggling to get those singles right now.
Yeah, it's a good contest, that's for sure. That's what it's all about. And again, work to the onside. There'll only be a single there. As Ishtiak cleans up, end of the over. After 17 overs, 3 for 43. Thanks for your time, George. We'll let you get back to the dugout, mate, and we'll see you hopefully a little bit later.
Thank you very much.
"17 overs down, 3 for 43, Scotland. I'm now joined. All the big wigs are coming now, left, right, and centre. It's Charlie Burke, Director of Cricket here in Hong Kong, former Hong Kong national coach, all-round good guy, and more importantly, comes from Perth.
Thanks, Cambo.
Could I have just spoken you up any more there?
No, I'm actually lost for words, Cambo. It's the nicest you've ever been to me.
Well, you are my boss, theoretically. You do pay the bills.
Yes, good point. Pretty impressive opening spell from Tanvir. 47 dots so far in his 9 overs. Very impressive bowling.
Yeah, very good. He's really keen to bowl himself out, get the 10 overs, as we're going to have another change of bowling. I would have thought Zaz Khan will bowl, and then after Tanvir's one more over, the spin will probably come on from his end. A little bit longer a little bit longer down the ground from Tanvir's end, so spinners generally like to work from that end.
Yeah, I thought Nadeem just probably bowled a little bit too quick, particularly this wicket being a little bit too paced. Probably, changing the pace and obviously trying to get some turn out of and some natural variation. Probably bowled a little bit too quick for the wicket that we've got today.
Zaz is greeted with a boundary behind point. It's a good shot. Picked up the length very quickly, and McLeod was all over it. 4 runs to Scotland.
Usually talk up the Hong Kong players, and I'm a big fan of Azar's, but I must say, I don't know how many times that I've seen him hit for a boundary first ball of a spell.
Yeah, I often talk about the first ball of an over is the most important one. Just start your over well and don't put yourself under pressure. But he's in the contest now. You'll know he's in for a battle. And he responds much better. Good line, good length. He's a good prospect though. He's been around the traps now, although he's just a young man. He has been involved in the Hong Kong setup for quite a number of years. One of our good developing young players.
Yeah, definitely. And he's the thing that I've liked about Azars over the last 2 years. He's one of the national players. When he comes back to club cricket, he tends to dominate more so than maybe some of the other guys. So that's always a pleasing sign.
Bowls nicely there. He's had his fair share of issues with injury though. It must be said. He's had some hip flexor issues in the past. There's not a lot of him when you're thinking fast bowlers, but all these lads spending a lot more time in the gym nowadays. Obviously not like us, Berkey, when we just do the beach weights here and there.
Needs to go on the Merv Hughes diet, doesn't he?
Yeah. Could use a feed, it looks like, but he's very good, fit, strong. Another one with a good action. Obviously, before you handed over the role, Simon Cook was the bowling coach for the national team before becoming the head coach. Very good operator, Simon Cook. Really has worked well with this group of fast bowlers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the important things about having specialist coaches is just having that extra, extra eyes and ears for the guys, and a definite person to go and speak to in a relationship with someone outside of just being the head coach that's trying to sort of manage the whole group and everything. But Cookie's done a tremendous job with our whole fast bowling brigade and our spinners as well. And I heard you earlier, Cambo, mention about some of the young guys coming through, and in our under-19s and our A squad at the moment, there's some really good young quicks coming through. So we've got some good stuff coming in the next couple of years.
Oh, upish. Kinchit Shah cleans up, does the work. Came back okay there after going for a boundary in the first ball. Finishes the over, 5 off, 3 for 48 now. Hong Kong after 18 overs.
Fielding's been pretty good today from the Hong Kong guys. I think a few of them putting their body on the line, which is good to see, particularly these cool conditions, throwing yourself around. You know, those hand warmers are getting very well used today. Good purchase from 7-Eleven on the way to the ground.
Yeah, obviously they didn't make their way over to the commentary box, any of those hand warmers.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot cooler here than it is over in the rooms.
Exactly. When someone said it was 11.3, it's not 11.3 over here, let me tell you. But change of the bowling. Tanveer Afzal won't bowl his 10 overs straight out. He's going to his debutant, Ishtiaq Mohammed. Young man on debut. Let's wish him all the best. Right arm off spin.
Few nerves, you reckon, Cambo?
No doubt. Here we go. He's into the action for the first time. And like many, he's been greeted with a boundary. It was a fraction short and it was cut away nicely. 4 runs.
Yeah, great to see Ishtiaq getting his opportunity today. He's actually been in the squad for 2 years, and he's been in and around the fringes, and the selectors have spoken a lot about Ishtiaq. So great that he's finally got his opportunity to wear the baggy red and in an ODI as well.
Oh, he's going to have to bounce back here. Again, a little bit of width, and again he'll be greeted with another boundary. Not the ideal start for the young man.
Well fielded there by the cricket operations manager, Travis Pittman. We've got a very good staff team, actually, Cambo. We beat actually you were part of it. That's probably why we won.
I must have been memorable.
Yeah, well,
I was even there.
I think I batted you 11 just to keep our friendship flowing.
It's better. You just can't afford to be too wide, and I think the umpire's just mentioning to him, get off the wicket. You're bowling right in front of me. It's a bit hard to give a decision if I can't see. So something for him to work on. A lot straighter than those first 2 deliveries. Deep point is back now to give him a little bit more protection. Sweep shot, bang. McLeod. George Munsey mentioned that he's a very good sweeper, and with 2 men up inside the ring behind square and no man out for the sweep, it may be an area that he's going to target.
Isn't McLeod just one of those guys that just absolutely knows his game inside and out? He's great to watch. He's a real competitor, and you know, obviously loves playing on the back foot and loves sweeping. And they've actually now chucked Anchman Rath out to deep square, and they've brought in deep point. Kinshit's come in from deep point inside the ring.
Well, again, Ishtiaq straight up. That's where his protection is. But he gets through his first over, and I'm sure he'll take a breath. And it's a lot easier now to get 1 under your belt.
So we've got 6 balls. We've got 1 over left before it definitely constitutes a match. The first ever one-day international here in Hong Kong, which is great. There's been a few questions being asked over in the players and officials area about the reserve days and how that works, and I can let everyone know that if once you've gone over that 20 overs, there's no need for a reserve day. So as long as we get this next over in without fail, with no weather interrupting, there'll be no play tomorrow. There'll be no need for a reserve day.
Right, and that means our old mate Duckworth and Lewis gets to have a part in the game as well if there is rain. Let me just tell you, at the end of this 20th over, with 3 wickets down, Scotland will need to be 103. That's a good drive, well fielded. Kinshit Shah, very good in the ring.
I could hear his father applauding that from here, Cambo.
Surprising. Very quiet man, Devung. Very quiet man indeed when he goes to the cricket. He's done very well too, let me just say. He's two wonderful kids. Kinshit playing today, but Ninad Shah, tell you what, he is the one that is going to be the, I hate to say it, maybe even better than his brother.
Coach?
Bit of rivalry in that family, let me tell you.
So plenty of cricketing brothers around, isn't there? It's great to see Mike and Dave Hussey play against each other in the Big Bash final the other night, and the older brother, the big brother, ended up winning.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Hussey, Ted, would have been looking down from above, very smiling and being very happy, probably having a shandy, watching his two boys play. Fantastic cricket family.
Just seems like, I know we've talked a lot about the wicket today, and we've talked about how it's two-paced and all that, and I think just looking at Barrington at the moment, just sort of trying to pin the ears back a little bit, just not quite, probably trying to overhit it at the moment, I would say.
Yeah, it's still fairly new to the conditions. Faced 20 odd balls. Again, that's just your timing, and like you say, I think what has to come into consideration is, you know, we've spoken about the wicket, the surface. Is it a bit too paced? It is a little bit hard from here to tell, but let's be honest, it's been under the covers for probably 2 weeks. To actually have a wicket that we can play on has been an amazing result. Good job from the groundsman. Zah's another single. Good line and length though, good line and length. Nice and straight, not giving any opportunity. Swing the arms.
There will be a few smiles on plenty of the HKCA officials today when we've bowled this last delivery. We've officially got a game constituted, so an ODI, the first ever official, or the first ever ODI in Hong Kong. Scotland are 3 for 62 in the 20th over.
And full ball, there'll be a single there. Sieb cleans up. And that'll be over. And 20 down.
And I've just seen the CEO do a cartwheel, celebrating that we finally got a match underway, which is fantastic.
Yes, if you just tuned in, wherever on your laptops around the world, it's been a very frustrating few weeks here in Hong Kong. Unseasonal rain has really made life pretty tough for all concerned, as the 4-day match was completed without a ball bowled. I noticed that you gave man of the match to one of the ground staff. Pick that up on your ever-growing Twitter account, Charlie Burke.
Well, it was definitely best on ground. Very consistent over the 4 days. Good old Vans Chan, hard worker, the young man.
Afzal back into the attack, finish his 10th over. Oh, bad fielding. Kinshit Shah, little mistake there. First real mistake we've seen from the Hong Kong outfit.
Vans Chan, who I was just mentioning, actually got, I think he got man of the match in our staff game, actually. He's got 2 man of the matches. He's been playing cricket for a year and picked up, I think, 3 for or 4 for.
I'm just saying, I'm not going out on a limb here, not being too over the top, but he is lucky to still have a job because he did knock over the president, Rodney Miles. It's not a good thing to do when you're employed by the association. You knock over the prez.
Yeah, we changed his name in the scorebook.
Just using the pace there to run down the third man for another single.
So Scotland here, Cambo, they're needing over 6.5 and over. It's very gettable, obviously, on the smaller grounds in Hong Kong, but you obviously don't want that getting up over 7.5, 8 and over, then it starts getting a lot tougher. So they're just ticking along at the moment, trying to keep it around that sort of 6.5 mark.
Afzal out. Yes, sir. McLeod trying to work it to the onside. He's done that a number of occasions. And another wicket falls for Scotland. And just as we spoke about 20 overs being done, Scotland have lost another wicket. Good partnership is over. Berrington the man out for 16. Scotland now 4 for 67.
I reckon that's an example again of just the ball maybe just holding up a little bit and being a bit too paced again. Playing obviously across the line a little bit there and spooning it to mid-wicket. Great bit of bowling there by Tanvir, the skipper.
Well, again, it was straight. He's maintained his line, his length consistently, forcing the opposition to try something, as drinks have been taken at the loss of that wicket. But the batsman under pressure, trying to work, probably overwork the ball instead of playing down the ground, and he's paid the price. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he's thoroughly deserved the wickets that he's picked up today. He's been again very economical and he's led from the front, which he often does. So fantastic effort here from Tanvir. One thing I must say as well, Cambo, just while we're taking drinks, it's great to see the coverage that we've got in Hong Kong today. The amount of media and photographers that are down and the people supporting the game today. It's great to see.
Well, absolutely. We've been getting a lot of tweets from all over the world. A lot of people who are watching the coverage. There's chat rooms and all sorts of things going on. Even got famous people like Chris McAnulty, the world famous horse breeder from Australia, come up just to have a look, see what he can buy, study the bloodstock, so to speak, Charlie.
Very keen cricket follower as well. Good old Chris McAnulty. So great to have him and many others down at Tin Kwong Road Recreational Ground.
I must admit, I have been living here for 4 years and come to this ground quite often with our team KCC, and I always thought it was Mission Road. When you told me where I had to come to the ground, I actually didn't know where I was going to.
You thought we had a new ground made.
I thought, gee, that CEO Cutler's doing a good job. Found a new ground.
So Cross has just come to the crease, the keeper, averaging 14.25 in his ODI career.
He's only starting though. I reckon he's going to be a good young player. Kept very well, very neat behind the stumps, and I always think when your wickie's batting at 6, you have faith in him as a batsman. As Tanvir continues, because generally you look at the great teams of the world, wicket keepers always bat 7. Everyone spoke about Adam Gilchrist, the greatest that's ever been, always batted at 7 in the longer form. Yes, he opened the batting in one-day cricket and all that sort of stuff, but when you sort out your team, I'm always a big believer. 6 batsmen, your wickie and 4 bowlers. Let's start from the bases, and generally that happens. But when you have faith in your wickie and he's batting in the top 6, you know he can play.
Absolutely, and I think one thing that impressed me with Cross today, having a bit of a look at him, was the way that he moved in between the overs, and he was one of the first people to pat the bowler on the back and get the group around, which is, I think, crucial. There's a big element to a keeper.
Yeah, it's a tough job being a wickie, Charlie. It's you don't get too many kudos about being the best bloke in the team. Got to be a special person to be a wicket keeper. Good ball. And that's it. That's the end of the over from Tanvir. That's the end of the spell. It's a fantastic one for Hong Kong. 10 overs, 3 for 20 with one maiden. 45 dot balls in that spell. What a tremendous performance from the skipper.
Yeah, astonishing spell actually. Only one boundary from his 10 overs as well, which was terrific. It's really led from the front, as he often does, so terrific. So it'll be interesting. Nadeem's looks like, Azar's is going to continue. great to see. I know you're just talking about obviously Cross and keeping before, and I know you've spent a lot of time with Jamie Atkinson, who's keeping for Hong Kong today. It's great to see. Jamie is a terrific fielder, but he's obviously there as a keeper as well and keeping for us today.
McLeod has been obviously the standout for Scotland so far. Seems to find this very comfortable. Yeah, Jamie Atkinson's obviously been the incumbent for a number of years. Has had some finger issues, which we've spoken about. Old poppadom fingers. But in saying that, there is strength in numbers in Hong Kong at the moment. Young Chris Carter's come about. There's a 17, 18-year-old now, Gloveman, who bats quite well. Then there's another one, the next generation, if you can even think that, is I think Kabir Sodhi from Hong Kong Cricket Club is an absolute cracking young wicketkeeper and batsman who's I think only 15 or 16. So there are some options there for Simon Cook looking towards the future.
But all those keepers that you've just spoken about then as well, Cam, one of the things that they've got in common is that they're so active, and that's what I love seeing, particularly in the younger keepers as well. They really do rally and manage the fielding side and always make the fielding side probably look a little bit better than they actually are, and I think that's a huge part of obviously being a keeper. Yeah,
absolutely. You're the captain of the fielding team, that's for sure, and you know when a bad throw or something comes in, somehow you make it look good. You're there to make the team look good. It's Cross, stylish through the covers. Good fielding though. Very good fielding. Again, that's Kinchit Shah.
We've just had a tweet come in from Nick Wazaruni. No doubt on the beach somewhere in Coogee and enjoying his Australia Day. He's now or Coogee, sorry, I always get that wrong. Coogee, whatever it's called. But he's no doubt enjoying his Australia Day. Former Warwickshire cricketer as well.
Oh, he saw the light, didn't he? Got out of England as quick as he could. Game to the shores of Australia. And they'll pick up another single. Yeah, good man, was that. Hope he's enjoying his Australia Day, as is everyone in Australia. Sure there'll be barbies going on. Nice hot weather. Blue skies. Do you think I was sounding a bit homesick?
I think I was having a look at the satellite just before I joined the commentary, and there was looking like there was going to be another shower at about just after 3:30. I know Cuts is a great CEO's just brought up the satellite at the moment, so we'll have a look at that. But it's getting just a little bit darker over the last couple of minutes. Maybe there's some rain about.
And if possible, I reckon it's got a bit colder. Just starting to really frost off.
Yeah, anyone that's maybe coming down to the cricket this afternoon, feel free to chuck in a few cappuccinos and lattes for the commentary team.
Or a woolen set of gloves. End of the over. 22 down. 4 for 70 Scotland. And if there was rain right now, after 22 overs at 4 down, they would need to be 128. So they are a little behind the old Duckworth-Lewis system.
And the bowling change I thought would come has come now. Young Anshman Rath, very impressive in the UAE. Bit of a revolution. We knew that he would bowl well over there. He's not a big turner of the ball, but he's very accurate. Bowls well to his field, mixes his paces up. Lovely to watch actually, and I think he's really started to develop this side of his game, and it's turned into a genuine all-rounder.
Well, he starts with a straight one. That was quite quick. Just trying to settle the nerves, hopefully get through the first few balls, keep the pressure off himself. Sweep shot, he likes that. Well, to get us through Anshman Rath's over, we're going to hand things up. So James Redmond will be happy with that, getting a bit more of Tim Cutler. And also Maxi Abbott.
Thank you, Ryan. Rath continue to bowl that straight line that was being spoken about. Charlie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Max. Wonderful
Lovely.
setup that you've organised here today, mate, and I'm sure everyone watching at the moment appreciates this streaming. There's been some really positive feedback, so a lot of the hard work you've put this together, so terrific to see.
All just a platform to showcase my commentary skills, clearly.
I think part of the agreement was you had to commentate 80% of the time, wasn't it?
85%, yeah, but 80's fine. That's fine. No, it's been great to bring cricket to not just people of Hong Kong, but all around the world. Had a few people tweet in from Los Angeles. People waking up in the early hours in Scotland. It's probably about the same temperature as it is here. But a great initiative and good support from the ICC as well to help make this stream happen and bring associate cricket to people's homes. Of course, as you well know, Charlie, getting this sort of exposure is vital for these associate nations as they try and look for sponsors, look to give their players the exposure to be able to get sponsored themselves.
Yep.
And it ended up a good over there from Rath and Shaman. He must be feeling pretty confident after his batting performance.
Yeah, and I think it's, the streaming is really important. I think one of the people that's been behind streaming in associate cricket is the global development manager Tim Anderson from the ICC. He's been a big fan of streaming associate cricket, and he's the one that really got it off the ground and happening in associate cricket, showcasing the World Cricket League Championship to many followers around the world. So that's great, and as you said, obviously the ICC have supported us here and made it happen, which is great. But certainly I think it's crucial that associate cricket, particularly in the World Cricket League Championship and what's at stake and the fact that it's the highest level of cricket, I think it's crucial that it's streamed. So Azaz Khan in again.
Well, yeah, so 4 for 74 at the moment, 23.1 overs bowled. The pass score at the moment is 129. So Scotland's some way behind that, and it is getting a little dark, so they might need to start taking a few risks. Do they start calculating that, Charlie, with knowing that the weather's coming? They're 50 runs behind the pass score. They may need to take a few risks here.
You're going to have to. I think, no doubt Grant's sitting there and having a chat to the boys about, the plan from here. But I think you obviously you don't want to go into a platform of sort of deciding how many overs is going to be and if there's rain coming and start putting, this added pressure that you don't actually need. I mean, at the end, there's still a chance that this is going to go 50 overs. But as you say, you probably need, particularly one of these two will need to start to take more the anchor role, and the other one will probably need to start taking more of a risk. That's probably going to be Cross, I would imagine, and start looking at getting closer to the Duckworth-Lewis pass score.
The target doesn't go up too quickly if they don't lose any wickets, so if they can stay out there, they can make up the ground pretty quickly on that 50-run deficit. But if they were to lose another wicket or two here, they will really fall quite a margin behind that pass score. So the score just up on your screen there now, 4 for 76 off 24, or in the 24th.
Great to see Buddhi Pradhan, the Nepalese umpire, officiating here. He's done a tremendous job.
Oh, it's up in the air, and it's safe. Just got enough on it. So maybe there's the first sign of aggression from the Scottish players looking to go over the top. That was the wicketkeeper Cross.
Well, I think Cross is the one that's going to take the risks here. I think McLeod's certainly going to be the one to work the ball around and go deeper into the innings, but I think Cross is probably going to have a bit more of a licence to be a little bit more aggressive than McLeod and try and get that run rate up a little bit higher for them.
Played easy single down there. So in case you have just joined us, Hong Kong earlier made 259. At one stage, 3 for 225 with 7 overs to go, and at that point it looked like 280, 290 was on the cards. The Scottish bowlers were exceptional in the final overs, managed to dismiss the home side for 259. And in response here, Scotland 4 for 76. On strike at the moment is Matthew Cross, their wicketkeeper. He's currently on 5. And the other end, Callum McLeod, who's on 45, not out. He looks the key.
I just wonder, Max, if it's crucial to bat the 50 overs out, and I just wonder if Hong Kong not facing those last 5 balls. I just hope it doesn't, for Hong Kong's sake, and wearing the Hong Kong hat, I hope it doesn't come back to hurt them, because they did build such a good platform. But I think it also showed that the wicket isn't that easy to bat on. I think obviously Anshuman Rath and Nazakat Khan batted beautifully, particularly in the middle overs, and probably showed with those guys coming in, and Tanvir and Azaz and the Wakas coming in and trying to be a bit more aggressive. It's probably not that sort of wicket.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a bit too pace. The odd one has held up. Rath continues here. I guess you can get sucked in easily as a batsman here, seeing the boundaries so short straight down the ground. You just think, well, if you follow through, you're going to get 6 runs even if you don't quite get it. But still, if the wicket's not quite coming on, oh, that's got to be close. Just outside the line of off stump, and it's run away for 4. So it'll be interesting to see if the umpire gestures here what was wrong with that one. And that's actually 50 to Callum McLeod, so he's signalled it runs, and that certainly looked a good shout.
A reverse French cut for 4.
Yeah, probably close whether it was pad or bat first, but that's a good shot. That could be no, it's going to be cut off, or should be. Yeah, Callum McLeod, well-deserved 50 for him. He's really held things together for Scotland. Wickets falling around him, the opening batsman. Managing to raise his 50 with the score, and he just pushing past 80. That's good going. Big job for him at this stage. Has a high score of 175, so he can go on with it.
He's been around, certainly knows his game. I know we were just talking about that not so long ago, but very impressive cricketer.
And he's played that well. Will that run away? Yes, it will. Another 4. So McLeod getting a bit more expansive, going for the reverse sweep. The first time he was perhaps lucky not to be given LBW, but on this occasion executed it beautifully.
I reckon Simon Cook would be sitting there in the dugout at the moment and not too worried about that, because Anshuman is such an accurate bowler. He bowls stump to stump, and to sort of play those sorts of shots with this sort of wicket, it's not going to be easy.
Rath trying to angle in at leg stump there. It's the end of the over. It was a good one for Hong Kong. 10 runs off it.
I think what you were saying before, Max, about past scores and short boundaries and all that in Hong Kong, I think back in 2011 when we last hosted international cricket here, apart from the Sixers of course, was when we hosted Division 3, which was a huge tournament for us and actually elevated us up to where we are now. But I think that's where a lot of sides in that tournament took 2 or 3 games to really understand that, and a lot of sides actually fell victim to playing on the smaller boundaries for exactly what you're saying. And I think past score was only around about 260, 265 on very good decks, and a lot quicker outfields because we didn't have the rain and stuff that we've had over the last week and a half here. So it can be some teams' downfall.
It's the spot to bowl for the medium paces. We saw Tanvir Afzal do it earlier. Bowl get through his 10 overs for 21 runs. Following the skipper's lead here, as is Khan.
All the people back in Scotland, love to hear from you, obviously through our Facebook or Twitter accounts, and see how they're enjoying the the live streaming back to Scotland.
Got to be enjoying it. The equation for Scotland at the moment, 172 runs needed, 24.5 overs. 4 for 88 at the moment, so halfway through the innings. It's in the air, but it's going to be safe. We have seen a few miscues with guys looking to go over the infield. There's not been too many shots throughout the day off good length balls that have really been middled. So I think that's an indication that if you can bowl good areas, it is hard to hit, as Hong Kong found out when Scotland were right on the money in the final overs of their innings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also seems to have been a lot of inside edges as well from both teams. It's again, I think that's an indication on the wicket maybe just been a little bit too paced.
Just a single there. That was good fielding. Zakat, feeling good after batting well earlier, although I'm sure the two Hong Kong boys would have been disappointed to miss out on maiden ODI centuries, both out in the 90s. Zakat fell for 94 off just 93 deliveries, and Anchorman Rath, who's bowling at the other end at the moment, 97, ran himself out.
Yeah, there wasn't two there, was there? But I just spoke to Anchorman's father, and oh,
that's a big one. He's middled that. I just said we hadn't seen too many middle off a length. But that one certainly came out of the middle. And hopefully they can get that one back. That might have gone down to Ting Kwong Road. No, there it is. It's managed to come back.
One of the school students at KG5 maybe threw that ball back to us. It went a fair distance. But yeah, I was just speaking to young Anchorman's father on the way over to the commentary box, and I said to him, a bit disappointing he didn't get the ODI 100, and his father said, oh well, he got 97, which is fair enough. I think you'd take that at the start of the day.
Yep. Well, it's in the air. Has it got enough on it? I think it might. No, it's taken. Great catch down on the boundary. Well, it looked like it may have been going over the fence. He had the rope to contend with. And it's whack-ass down there. That was a great catch.
I tell you what, our assistant coach, Jawad Iqbal, was one of the greatest hitters of a long ball for fielding warm-ups and fielding training, and that's exactly what Wacker spends a lot of his time doing, is practicing exactly that. Right on the boundary, rope there, markers there, exactly for that situation. So a lot of credit's got to go to Jawad Iqbal for that, I reckon, the assistant coach.
Yeah, that was a fantastic catch. Got under it just a bit too much there, did Cross. Matthew Cross. And yeah, that's going to make things a bit difficult for Scotland now. In terms of this Duckworth Lewis pass score, they've fallen a fair way behind. Cross gone for 12 off 17 deliveries. Scotland now 5 for 96, the 26th over, with CEO Tim Cutler knocking on the door, wanting his opportunity to get into the commentary box. Spread the gospel of Hong Kong cricket.
Thanks, Max. You make me sound quite desperate there.
Oh no, just enthused by the cricket on display here and the fact that we've got a match in.
Indeed, and I'm glad that my cheer didn't come through to the viewers there sitting next door to Charlie. But great catch. I saw Wackers take one almost exactly the same in the warm-up. Just as Charlie was saying, stepping just around the rope. Amazing fielding there.
So the situation now, just taking a look at the par scores, at the end of this over, Scotland would need to be on 156, on 96. So they've got a bit of work to do, a bit of rebuilding. I think Hong Kong definitely on top now after that wicket, and Callum McLeod, who's not out on 57, really is the key man now, as the debutant joins him at the crease. And Brad Wheel, who was pretty impressive with the ball, picked up just the one wicket at the end, but he, at the end of the innings certainly kept things pretty tight. Yeah, so Tim, all in all today, we've got a match on here, which obviously everyone's relieved at with the weather around. From your perspective, seeing the comments out there in the Twitter sphere with the live stream, you must be fairly satisfied.
very, very satisfied. I think that goes without saying that we've been able to get on. A lot of interest, it seems, about the condition of the ground and just what we've gone through to get it up. I know probably doesn't look the prettiest at the moment. It's been basically underwater for almost the last week. But the government has really helped us here. They've basically reseeded the entire field. There's a couple of species of grass out there in the field, and they've worked really hard to get the ryegrass seed out there and coming through, and it is playing really, really well for a field that probably isn't as flat as it could be. It's quite undulating, as it's an old army field from hundreds of years ago. It's played really, really well. It's just disappointing we haven't been able to get everything else as pretty as possible just with this weather during the week. But I think looking at the number of people watching the stream and the performance of the pitch and the field, and also both teams, are over the moon that we're here today.
Benjamin Rath continuing. Sorry, it wasn't the debutant Brad Wheel going in there. It's in fact Rob Taylor.
And I'll just echo Charlie's sentiments there in terms of Anchi's bowling. I think he's really come of age. I think batting wise we know that's been there for quite a number of years, but his bowling in the last couple of tours has been amazing, really. I think he is really knocking on the door to become that number one left arm spinner spot, and to have a guy who can open the innings, and that one's just gone through a would-be first slip there. I think with 5 wickets down and not turning that much, you've got to consider getting someone in there. But in the UAE, he was just a wicket-taking machine. I think he averaged in the single digits in the one-day matches and all the T20 matches as well. So just seems to bowl that really nagging length, gets great overspin, and I think he's really good energy on the ball. So I expect big things from him in Bangladesh in the Asia Cup qualifiers, hopefully into the Asia Cup, and then also in the World T20.
Well bowled again on the dot ball. So with, almost through 27 overs here, 1 ball to go. Scotland 5 for 101. Just run through the scorecard after this. It's worked away there from Taylor. Moves on to 5. And that is the end of the over. It's 102 for 5. And just taking a look at this Scotland scorecard after 27 overs. Their main man at the top of the order, Kyle Kurtzer, was knocked over early on with the score on 8 by Tanvir Afzal for 6. And then the very next ball, Machin nicked off. Also to the bowling of Tanvir Afzal, who was on a hat-trick at the time, 2 for 8. And Machin fell. And the skipper, Preston Momsen, looking to lift the run rate, skying a pull shot. He was dismissed for 5 by Hasib Amjad. And then it was Tanvir Afzal again, getting Richie Berrington for 16. Score at that time 4 for 67. And then the last man to fall, Matthew Cross, there to Azaz Khan for 12. 5 for 96 at that time. So Scotland now 5 for 101, and with 23 overs to go, need 159 runs to win the match, which is it's going to be a difficult ask.
Very difficult. I think Scotland have been talking about how deep they do bat, and just to see how well they've performed over the last few years as they've emerged as probably the third best associate nation coming through, knocking on the door of Afghanistan and Ireland. I think Tanvir Afzal and his men will really have to knuckle down here and just keep to the plans, not get too excited, not panic at all. It's very easy. We can talk about panicking with the bat, but it's just as easy to do that in the field. Now Max, I'm going to take a bit of a lead here. You gave us a little bit of a Brendan Julian before. I am lucky enough to have known you for a long time, and I know that you do some of the best impressions of commentators of yore, and also some of the current ones. So I'm not sure if we want to get any requests in on Twitter or on the chat on the YouTube channel, which I'm also keeping an eye on. But I don't know if I don't know.
There's one here, one I had earlier on Twitter from Catherine Lochner, a keen cricket follower back in Australia, down there at Fox Sports, who was tuning in, asking for the Jeffrey Dujon. So I could give a bit of that. The West Indian keeper, Jeffrey Dujon.
Yes,
Do a
please.
bit of this up.
So if you just set the scene here.
Well,
just-
okay, we're going to set a scene here. We're going to picture we're sitting in the Caribbean watching a game. Hong Kong will be reasonably confident of the position they've got themselves into. 101 for 5 is a good position. Here's his Khan coming in the ball here. Slight inside edge there, out to Milan. But I think at this stage, there's no doubt that it's Hong Kong the feeling as though they're on top. Making a 259 is a good score on a slow pitch. Not sure how long I need to continue.
Well, we've had a request from James Redmayne, the not as famous as his brother Eddie Redmayne, if we can get a Tony Gregg. So I think we've got some good ones from the mid-90s, perhaps with Peter Kirsten being run out off the relay throw after Matthew Hayden.
We'll commentate the game as it unfolds here. We make sure the viewers stay informed.
I do like watching Azaz play cricket. Batting-wise, very correct. See him hit some massive drives just over a wide mid-off for 6, but just seems to have that knack of taking the wicket. Might go for that boundary off the first ball of almost every spell, but even in Ireland in the T20 qualifiers, he just seemed to be able to come on and, despite going for a couple of boundaries, always seems to pick up that wicket. So wasn't surprised to see him get that one with Waqas taking that great catch. So great to see a kid that is really, I could say, not singularly, but so responsible for a big part. Oh, that one's in the air. That should be out.
And taken. So another wicket falls, and that's Callum McLeod.
I won't call myself
wicket.
Nostradamus, but close.
That's the big wicket there for Hong Kong. And Callum McLeod, he was the man who had to really try and lift Scotland out of this. He was on 58, and he skied one down to third man. And just as Tim Cutler was saying that as he just picks up wickets, what does he do? He comes on and picks up a wicket.
I think that probably gives us a chance as the number 8 comes into bat for Max to give us a little summary of that in his best Tony Gregg.
Yes, well, it was a terrific dismissal, no doubt about that. Down to third man. And Hong Kong, they really are on top here at the moment. And a skied ball down to the third man region. At first I thought it might have been going all the way, but it fell into the hands down there. And Anshuman Rath here, didn't he bat beautifully in the first innings? The timing was sensational. Hong Kong here, everything you'd like to see around the places. Victoria Peak, one of the greatest sights in the world, and certainly one of the best cricket grounds here at Mission Road.
And let's finish with a little bit of Ravi Shastri, and then we'll get back to normality.
It's in the air and taken. Brilliant catch. The big wicket for Hong Kong. It's Callum McLeod.
And I don't think you've got anything left there. That's all she wrote. But back to it. Anshuman Rath into bowl.
It was a bit self-indulgent.
Well, those around may know, but Max is the son of former, still funny man, but former ABC comedian, The Sandman. Many an hour has been spent listening to them go hammer and tongs, so just a little bit of magic there.
Thank you, Tim. Anshuman Rath coming in.
This really is a time now as a bowling team you can really tighten the screws. The pressure's really on new batsmen. Got to keep the runs ticking over, but we're now needing basically a boundary and over as well, so the advantage really is with Hong Kong.
Well, that's just for 6. Yeah, that's out of here. That's into the tennis courts over the back there. And great shot there from Rob Taylor. Well, he has got Scotland out of a jam before. The World Cup qualifiers against Kenya came up with an unbeaten 47 off 36 balls to get his team out of a trouble and into the World Cup.
Funny enough, he also played a bit of a lone hand with Preston actually in the World Cup qualifier against Hong Kong in their first match too, where he was able to get 25 from 28 balls, where Scotland almost pulled it from the jaws of defeat. They almost pulled it back, so can definitely string an important innings together.
And his bowling was impressive earlier on today as well. He was hard to get away. Finished with figures of 2 for 38 from his 8 overs, and already he's made a difference with the bat since he's come in. He's looked most comfortable of the Scottish batsmen in terms of starting his innings. 16 off 15 deliveries at the moment, joined by Josh Davey, who's just on 1, and that big wicket of Callum McLeod, the previous over for 58 off 78 balls. It's a real hammer blow for Scotland.
Great scenes here in Mission Road. All the kids finishing their school, starting to pile into the ground. Hopefully we'll have a tidy little crowd here to hopefully see a Hong Kong victory. We've had a special request in from the love of Max's life, so he's going to have to do it for a Curtly Ambrose. So let's see if we can try and work that way in.
I'm always reluctant sometimes to come up with the Curtly Ambrose, but on this occasion, I'm going to come up with it. The G-Ma, mate, coming into bowl with a rather seeing the fast bowlers come on, try to ruffle a few feathers out there.
Even though I'm your boss, I actually feel extremely inadequate at the moment, Max.
Well, it is not coming for Curtly Ambrose to feel a dominant part. Certainly gave a few batsmen a few problems in my time. They can blame my mother, she got me into cricket. I was wanted to play basketball or football.
What would happen if I asked you to take off those 2 big white sweatbands on your right arm at the moment?
Well, I don't want to say too much, but as that one goes away to the boundary, I'm not going to stop those on this ground. But Dean Jones, I think he would regret making me take off the sweatband.
I think that's one of the few things Dino would probably agree to as well. Just a little edge behind there for 4 down the leg side, and as we said, can't take the foot off the pedal here from Hong Kong's point of view. Now, Nadeem has been, I think it's been a little bit off, I think it's fair to say. He started off, I think, bowling a little bit slow in his first over, a little bit short for a few cut shots, and now he seems to be bowling a little bit quick, which on this wicket I don't think is the right strategy. It's a little bit slow. I think take the pace off and make them come to you. Even with those short straight boundaries, I think also as a left arm spin bowler, I think the idea would be to take that pace off and make them hit you.
There's a couple of questions through on Twitter here, Tim, aimed at you. I might pose them to you. CEO of Hong Kong Cricket.
Andrew Nixon, all the way in the north of the UK. That it has been Max doing the impressions. I'm just doing an impersonation of a CEO on the microphone at the moment. But good question here about the Chinese development here, and very, very, very important. I guess as we look out in the field, and I'll let Nadeem bowl this ball.
Big swing there, just away for. We're going to take 2. It's going to be close. Good throw, might have had him there. 2 more to Rob Taylor. Oh, might get a 3rd. No.
Okay. Local Hong Kong Chinese development very important as we look at the Hong Kong team. Despite the majority of the guys here being born or learning the game here, as you can see, it's really strong into your communities with the background of the cricketing nations. But we've got 4 full-time cricket officers who are all local Hong Kong Chinese doing their programs. And I think the success of those, what was we see, a big shot out there. Where's that going?
Oh, straight to him. That's another wicket. That's Rob Taylor as well. He was looking dangerous. Yet another wicket falls for Scotland, and it's now 7 for 123, and it might just be beyond them now, Tim, without wanting to call it too early.
I don't think you'd be too far off the mark. I think Hong Kong after losing a few early wickets and the way that they were able to crawl that back. I think as we look back, we'll just say that that partnership with Anshuman Rath, the man who took that catch, will be the difference. But yeah, had to start playing a few shots, but probably picked the wrong boundary to go. Longest boundary in the ground out there, probably nudging 75 to 80 metres out there.
Yeah, it's first wicket for Nadeem Ahmed. Figures are 1 for 22 now. Almost one ball to go. I believe in his fourth over. Tim, you were just talking before about Chinese development.
Yeah, it's obviously very important. It's over 90% of the population here of Hong Kong Chinese extraction, and that's not to belittle the achievements of the 10%. You know, we only have just over 7 million people here in Hong Kong, and to think about from that catchment really of regular cricket players of fewer than 1,000, and to look at how we're achieving here, it's amazing. Just to think what we could then achieve again if we could then get that love of the game throughout the Hong Kong community. Our ladies team is probably testament to the hard work that's been ongoing. Emma Lai, who's a full-time employee of the association, is also the ladies captain, and more than half of our ladies team are Hong Kong Chinese ladies, and they're getting better and better, and we're actually pitching to hopefully host a ICC Asia tournament later this year where they'll be looking on their route to the next Women's T20 World Cup, I think it is. So I think Mission Road may get a little bit more international cricket before the year's out.
Well, it's worth noting as well that players in this team are very much predominantly born and bred in Hong Kong.
Yes, as I was saying before, I think if of the three, shall we say, naturalised qualifiers, Tanvir, Hasib and Bubba, if we just start pointing fingers, all three of those guys have now done more than 7 years living in Hong Kong, and now all three of them are in the throes of applying for a Hong Kong passport and to settle here permanently. Well, they're already permanent residents after doing the 7 years anyway. Everyone else was either born here. If you look at Jamie, Kinship came here when he was 1. Anshuman was born here. Chris Carter, who's not playing today, born here. But everyone else here was basically here, have learnt their cricket here. I guess my question to you, Max, you've been here for, what, 3 weeks now? Maybe 2.5 weeks.
Into my fourth.
Into your fourth week. It's not good for me, normally good with the numbers. What's your impression coming from the largest grade club in Australia by player numbers, including juniors at Easts at Waverley Oval, coming here to something that's probably very, very different?
Well, it is very different. No doubt about that. Just watch this delivery here from Rath. Stop ball. Well, actually, one of the things that has really struck me is the amount of talented young players that are around in Hong Kong. Probably something I didn't necessarily expect. There was been to a number of training sessions now and seen some of these kids in action, and they're very advanced and just as advanced as some of the 15-16-year-olds that you would get at Easts, which is very encouraging, because I think it is quite common for associate nations to get a batch or a core group of players that come through and qualify for tournaments that perhaps slip off the radar. We've seen that a couple of times. But if you look at the Hong Kong setup at the moment, you can see the kids that are they're coming through the ranks, and as you mentioned and alluded to before, that a lot of the players here born and bred in Hong Kong come through the system. It does prove that it's in the out. It's just going to be one down the ground. It does prove that the system can produce quality players, and there's going to, in 2 or 3 years' time, I can definitely see some of these younger kids putting a lot of pressure on the current squad, which is what you need to really build a successful and some sustained success.
And that's just it. I think sustainability and consistency is the biggest thing, the biggest challenge for me. Whilst I have my challenges day in, day out from an administrative point of view, on field I can just see that as we're getting better and playing against better opposition, consistency on the field, and that comes all the way down to the training standards throughout to our junior programs, and all the way up to what our senior players are doing on a day-by-day basis, and making sure that we actually employ them or at least be able to pay them enough to be here full time. So there's exciting things to come, but I think as you're talking about the age groups of the guys who have that talent, it's again indicative of the exposure these kids will get, just because it's such a small talent pool that someone like Ansherman, who's now 17 on the way to 18, even if he showed this much talent in an established cricketing nation, probably wouldn't get the opportunities he's had. And there he was going to play against PNG back in early 2014 in Townsville against PNG. He got 50 on debut. So, you know, when you give these kids a chance, they can really take it a mile.
Now, one thing I do want to ask you about before I lose you is the Hong Kong Sixers. Obviously, it's been the most famous cricketing event in Hong Kong for over 20 years. It hasn't been on the calendar for the last 2 or 3 seasons, but there are plans to try and bring it back this year. Well, that's close. That's got to be out. Yeah, it's gone. His foot just slipped outside of the crease there, and it's another wicket to Nadeem Ahmed. So Scotland sink further into trouble. 8 for 125.
And I think you see there, just as he slowed it up, just made the batsman come to him. Look at what happens. We talked about Mission Road and the way it plays. You slow it up, a little bit more turn there, and stumping there. Really well done by Jamie.
Safian Sharif slipping his foot outside of the crease there. It's a very tidy stumping. Jamie Atkinson, wealth of experience behind the stumps. 8 for 125. Scotland, the 32nd over.
The team.
And the new man in is the debutant, Brad Wheel. Well, no.
Alistair Evans, that is,
Alistair
here
Evans.
in 45.
Took 4 wickets with the ball earlier. So Tim, just to get back to the question I was asking before about the Sixers, there are some plans to try and bring it back?
Very much so. I think before I moved to Hong Kong a few years ago, you talk about Hong Kong, you talk about cricket, people talk about the Sixers, and even since we've come out of Division 3, which I'll get back to as Az's performance then later on, but even as we've got one-day international status, we've knocked off countries like Bangladesh in major competitions, and Zimbabwe and the Netherlands and warm-ups, and most recently Ireland and Afghanistan in full games, or including the UAE. It's amazing how strong the Hong Kong Sixers brand is, and a real warm memory and warm feeling around the events, around the cricketing world, and that's with the fans and also the players. So we're very keen to bring it back. We're actually pitching to the Government Mega Event Fund Committee in the next couple of weeks, which will mean a large pot of funding, hopefully, with an increased size of events. I think we're looking at getting as many men's teams here as possible, and also having a women's competition, and also a junior Sixers running concurrently as well. So hopefully there'll be some good news to report shortly.
Good news here is that the rain has held off. May be able to complete this game, which didn't look that likely earlier on. Continues at the required rate, pushing up towards 8 and over now for Scotland. Just the 2 wickets in hand. It's a big uphill battle, but I suppose they don't have much choice here other than to try and take the long handle and hope for what would be a fairly miraculous victory from here. 8 for 126, 33rd over.
And you can see the change in the way that Hong Kong, or the 2 spinners, are bowling, the 2 orthos in tandem. Just that pace has really come off the ball, and you can just see the effect that has on the new batsmen, lower order players. A little bit dull light here, even with the white balls, but just really hard to get that ball even out of the circle, let alone to the boundary.
probably just where Scotland struggled a little bit. Didn't have a frontline spinner to go to in those middle overs when Zackett and Anshaman were building a very steady partnership. They weren't quite able to change the pace. Hong Kong's momentum to continue, and we've seen after the opening bowlers, Tanveer bowled exceptionally, only going for 21 off his 10 overs, but after that pace has come off the ball. It's been difficult to score. In the end, probably not a bad toss to lose for Hong Kong, being sent in. It was overcast, the covers had been on. It seemed like a bowl first day. The way the wicket's played, it's probably been at its best earlier on.
Yes, I'm not sure if that's more the type of bowling that we saw from the Scots, who seem to be a lot more willing to really bang it into the surface with some full pace and also slower bounces that really did break up the scoring rate towards the later part of the innings. But yeah, it's fair to say that it seems to have been a lot harder to score in the afternoon. But if we look at Tanveer's first 10 overs, and you're talking about the pitch map before, I don't think the Hong Kong openers really gave the Scotland batsmen much at all to hit.
No, they didn't. There probably was a bit of a difference when Hong Kong batted. They lost a couple of early wickets, but they got a couple of full tosses, a couple of wide short balls which they put away. Just kept the pressure off them a little bit.
It's a much better pace there. Look at that. That short cover could even come in a bit there.
Captain and CEO Tim Cutler here in the commentary box. Max Abbott.
Currently employed Max Abbott. We haven't got through that probation period yet. Well, once a left arm spinner, always left arm spinner.
Well, he has been listening. I think Nadeem, he has slowed his pace down last over or so, and he's been rewarded.
He's been such a good bowler over a number of years. I think it was mentioned very early on. Charlie was talking about Nadeem's one-day international debut against Pakistan, his country of birth, back in 2008, the Asia Cup. I think taking 4 wickets, including I think Mohammed Yusuf and also Shahid Afridi. There some big names there. At one stage, Hong Kong had Pakistan 7 for 170. Unfortunately, there was a late flurry of runs, which meant it was a little bit too big for a Hong Kong total to chase down. But Nadeem's been a mainstay really in the team for coming on to a decade now. I think he's only just hit 25, around that, maybe a little bit older.
So the end of another over there. 34 overs gone, 8 for 129.
So Max, what do you do here? I think we're both lower order batsmen when we strap the pads on. Well, what are you saying between overs?
Well, it really depends on whether Scotland want to have still a good go at it, or try and get as close as they can and limit the damage in terms of net run rate. Probably at this stage you look to just face a few deliveries and give yourself a chance of being able to lift the run rate at the end. So might just knock it round for another 5 or so overs and then really try and leave themselves a 10 and over or something in the last 10 and have a crack at it then. It's going to be difficult either way, but it's hard enough for a tail ender to come in from ball 1 or 2 and hit the ball out of the park. You see that pretty rarely. So if it was me, I'm more of an accumulator myself. I'd be trying to knock a few around and try and get the pace of this pitch, because actually there have not been many batsmen who've got to double figures today. I mean, looking through the Hong Kong innings, there's only 3 batsmen reached double figures. Reached double figures, and 2 of those went on to almost get hundreds each.
And even as we speak, could see Ishtiaq being brought in from the deep point fence, just to strangle a little bit more on the circle there, and that one's just gone for boundary down the leg side. Yeah, it's definitely tough. Very hard just to know how to play your hand when you come in like this. It's a bit like being a goalkeeper at the end of innings, or goalkeeper when the ball gets to you. It's tough because there's really, you can't really win here, can you? You score a quick 30 and get out, or if you knock it around and still lose by 40 or 50. But the key thing here, I think you mentioned here, is net run rate. I think with the results going on around the World Cricket League Championship as they are, and the weather has affected some of the games, I think that net run rate may just be a really important factor as we get towards the end of the 15 to 2017 series. With Hong Kong currently first net run rate, this victory looks like it could be a real boon again for the...
Let's not call it yet, Tim. Still a couple of wickets to get.
I'm not calling, I'm saying it could be. It could be. But very important thing to take into consideration nonetheless.
That's well bowled there from Rath. Another over gone. It's 35 completed.
So what bowlers have we got left there, Max? You go through the bowling figures.
Yep. Through the bowling figures, Tanvir Afzal was unbelievable. Start 10 overs, 3 for 20. Was on a hat trick at one stage. Sib Amjad gave great support at the other end. 5 overs, 1 for 13. Nadeem Ahmed went for a couple of boundaries in his first 2 overs, but he's pulled it back well. 6 overs, 2 for 23. And Azaz Khan, 6 overs, 2 for 26. Also among the wickets. I might see the debutant a bit more. Went for 13 in his only over. Ishtiaq Muhammad might want another bowl.
Yeah, I'm sure the young man's quite disappointed. He's been a leading wicket taker over the past 5 seasons for Pakistan Association. He's another one outside the probing edge there. Now, Ishtiaq's been a great bowler, and I know he's better than that, and hope to see him come back. I guess while we're here, I just want to give a bit of a shout out to Craigengow Cricket Club. I think we've all heard the name of this series being the Braidwood Cup, and just why it's named that way. William Drew Braidwood founded the Craigengow Cricket Club all the way back in 1894. He was a Scot who came to Hong Kong as an English teacher, and in that year he not only taught the kids during the day, during the afternoon, he also got them all together to play cricket on the adjoining field. So I thought it was a sublime poetry there for us to really celebrate.
It's in the air. Should be taken. It's gone.
It's a great catch by Kinshit.
So ninth wicket to fall. Just hold those thoughts there, Tibby. Braidwood will have to wait because it's 9 wickets down in Hong Kong. Just 1 wicket away now from victory in the first ever one-day international played here in Hong Kong.
And I think if you see him take that catch as he slides, it was almost identical to the shape of his catch that he took against Afghanistan in that crucial World T20 match that guaranteed Hong Kong's place in India in March. It's just too bad that you guys can't see a replay there, but from our position here, he made some good strides, and he's not the smallest Kinship, but very quickly got across there and dived across just to get it before it got onto the turf.
So it's 9 for 137. Just 1 more wicket needed here.
Look at that view of Hong Kong as well. We're not even in the city, and you can just see the high-rise elements of this beautiful city.
The tennis courts just behind this ground. The Ting Kwang Road Recreation Ground.
On this Tuesday, very chilly Tuesday, I know a lot of our friends, colleagues and fans are at work. I know our friend Bruce working very hard, watching from his office, and the Disco Rhino John Rafter as well would want to be here. He's all the way in Singapore, so shout out to those guys.
Oh, that was almost it there. Dean going past the outside edge. This time it is Brad Wheel who's come to the crease.
Is that your third time lucky? Third time?
lucky.
It's lucky they're not wearing numbers or anything, because it'd be really hard to tell. But I must say, 4 weeks into the job, you've running start really, Max. Congratulations on today. I think you and Cambo, some great feedback. Might even get Cambo in for the last little period here, and I'll spare you my dulcet tones. So look, I'll say goodbye. I'll get Ryan in here and let you and him close this out. But thank you very much for your efforts today, and especially Max being up here at 7 o'clock in the morning when it was almost 0 degrees. Thank you very much, and thanks everyone for watching, and hopefully see you later this week with more cricket, one-day international cricket from Hong Kong.
Thank you, Tim Cutler there, CEO, Hong Kong Cricket Association, stepping out of the commentary box. In comes Ryan Campbell, who's going to see it out with me here. We're at the start of the day.
Here we are.
We didn't think we'd get a completed match, but the rain has just held off. It been outside there? Is it spitting or is it?
It's a little spitting and it's frigid would be the word I'd use. Maxi, good to see though, 9 down, wicket, the match pretty much in the pocket, bringing on the first gamer in Itak.
And of course, those watching, be a good time to remind all that tickets available for the 2020 matches this weekend. So if you're in Hong Kong, make sure you get yourself down. 2020 cricket on this ground will be some great entertainment, some all-inclusive hospitality packages available on a ticket flap. Cambo,
Love a good
be
hospitality
busy coaching,
package.
but I know that you'd be desperate to come and get involved in that.
Cow Corner, isn't that
Cow
where it
Corner
is?
Club.
Oh yeah.
We'll be buzzing down here on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Plenty of action and hopefully the weather plays ball.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for Thursday. Second ODI.
Oh, it's not a bad shot.
Little reverse Malachi from the tail enders. Been a little bit disappointed with the Scotland batting, I must say. That
Never really got going, have
No.
they? The very first over.
you know, a couple of okay partnerships. Okay partnerships without really getting a real platform. But yeah, I think also bowled well. Hong Kong.
Here's the debutant, Shitak Mohammed, getting another opportunity here, but I think the key wickets were up front. Kyle Kurtz has been the mainstay of the batting lineup, and Machin. Those two players were their standout performers at the World Cup, and to have them back in the shed in the first couple of overs was a big blow. So I think that set them back, and coupled with the very tight bowling of Tanvir Afzal that just pushed that required run rate up, just didn't give Scotland a chance to kind of relax into their innings.
Yeah, absolutely. He was very good from the outset.
So what have you made the match, looking at it in its entirety, Ryan? What have been the real main differences that have seen this margin between the two sides at the moment?
Oh, look, I think obviously early on, the Scotland bowlers were on the game. You know, Hong Kong lost early wickets, but what we've always talking about is, you know, don't panic, stay calm, form a partnership. Whatever happens, just get a partnership going. Someone goes on to a big score, you can set enough of a target. And today, Anshman Rath and Nizakat Khan, they batted beautifully together as a partnership, laid the foundation. Then, as we saw, you know, 7 for 30 at the end was obviously disappointing, but those two were outstanding. We didn't know what a good score was. We figured it was around 250, 260, and at that point we actually thought that wasn't enough because of the way they finished. But they just showed bowl well, defend yourselves, you know, field well in the ring, take your catches, away you go, and they've done that very well.
I was just checking the light there, but I think with the white ball and spinner on and 9 down, you'd be inclined just to continue on. It is a bit dark, but not too dark. And in the end, we talked about this with Tim earlier, but that not having a frontline spinner has proven costly for Scotland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just weren't able to take the pace off the ball.
Yeah, you know, the attack, it can get very much the same. You know, very same. So, you know, they rely obviously on their seamers, whereas Hong Kong are a bit different. They have spinners. I thought the Hong Kong spinners bowled too fast early. They were bowling way too quick, but then they just seemed to slow their pace down. I don't know if that's from confidence or, you know, getting down the order or, you know,
Message
not bowling.
from the batting coach.
Who knows? They might have been tuned in, but all of a sudden, you know, it's suddenly the ball's turning and it looks tough to bat on.
Debutant Brad Wheel on strike here at the moment. He's looking to improve himself, get himself up the order. He's in there with Josh Davey, who's on 13 at the moment. 9 for 139. In reply to Hong Kong's 259. Nadeem Ahmed into of his 8th over here. He's got 3 for 25 at the moment. And that was, I think, after his first 3 overs, went for roughly 18. And, well, that's in the air.
Chipped in the air. This could be it. No.
Just short. And like Ryan said, it started taking the pace off the ball. And the economy rate started to come down. Wicket started to fall.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. 2 slips for the Nadeem now. It is getting quite dark. I saw the umpires having a look at their gadgets, their light readers and stuff. Wouldn't surprise me if Hong Kong did bring a fast bowler on that we might see an early end.
They may be keen to give the debutant a couple of overs here, though. Ishitak. Opportunity for him to show what he can do.
Yeah, I think it's a nice piece of captaincy from Tanvir. So just giving the young fella a bowl. Went for a little bit of stick in his first over. He's come back okay.
Another reverse sweep, and that's going to be 4. So Josh Davey showing that he can bat a bit down the order here. He's played a couple of nice shots.
It's the old tail enders. They've got all the shots, that's for sure. They love it going to the reverse sweeps and normal sweeps, laps. They do it all.
He does have an average of just over 25 in one-day international cricket, which is pretty handy for someone at number 8.
Yeah, solid numbers there.
He's got a couple of 50s.
He's got some good faith in his tail ender too, tail end partner. And happy to take the single when it was offered.
Oh, just short. I'm sure he would love to get that first wicket, Ishtiaq. Bowling maybe a fraction quicker than the other spinners. Perhaps that's not helping his cause. We've seen most of the success come when the pace has been off the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look at that score card, I'm sure Scottish fans aren't happy, but a lot of Hong Kong people around the ground are pretty merry right now.
Yeah, of course, this win will keep them on top of the table of the World Cricket League Championship. Up to, they've had 3 wins from 4 matches so far, this being the 5th. Scotland have had a couple of washouts. They seem to take bad weather with them.
Yeah.
This will be, they haven't lost one yet, but they look to be heading towards the first defeat in the competition here. It's in the air. And he's claimed it, he's gone, and it's all over. Victory for Hong Kong in the first ever one-day international in Hong Kong, unbeaten in Hong Kong.
Can we say anything more about Hong Kong? No, fantastic result. Obviously the lads, they've worked well. New coach Simon Cook has got this side pretty well drilled, and it's a good, I guess, character builder. It's good for the team's spirit to going forward. If they can take a couple of scalps like Scotland, you know, just the whole team, the whole squad just feels a little bit more buoyed, and they will take this confidence towards the next few games. Obviously, one eye is on the Asian Cup and the World T20 World Cup, but today it's been their day, and hats off to them because they've worked pretty hard, and on the back of Anshuman Rath and Nizakat Khan's 90 odd each, they really have played very well.
An outstanding result for Hong Kong in the end. In the end, they've scored victory by 109 runs. Fairly comprehensive in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll go through the batting scorecard for Scotland in a minute. But look, a fantastic performance. You know, obviously Scotland didn't play so well, but I thought the pressure that the Hong Kong bowlers put on, especially early doors, was fantastic. They took their chances, they took the wickets, and in the end, it's a very, very good result for Hong Kong cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hong Kong were sent in to bat earlier on today. It proved to be a toss. It wasn't a bad one to lose. Made 259. Anshman Rath at the top of the order. 97 off 136 deliveries. Along with Nizakat Khan, 94 off 93 deliveries. They were the two standouts. The next top score was down to Jamie Atkinson, who made 21. So those two contributions were vital. With the ball for Scotland, Alistair Evans, 4 for 41 off 10 was the standout. Rob Taylor and Sharif were tidy, 2 for 38 and 2 for 44 respectively. And Scotland's innings, it was only really Callum McLeod that got going with 58. They lost a couple of big wickets early. And after Callum McLeod's 58, it was Josh Davey when the match was already over, making 24 not out at the end there. But some impressive bowling performances from Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tanvir Afzal, the skipper, led the way from the front. 10 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 20. Was absolutely fantastic. Nadeem Ahmed, 8 overs. He took 3 for 26. Azaz Khan, 2 for 26. Hasib Amjad, 1 for 13. Anshman Rath, 7 overs for 41. And Ishitak Muhammad, 3 overs, none for 24. Rounded it out for a very, very good win for Hong Kong.
Yeah, we've got a special guest joining us here as a player's warm-up. A man who, I can't call him the official man of the match, but he's my personal man of the match, which is Anshman Rath, who made 97 in the first innings. Anshman, well done. What did you... That partnership between you, yourself and Nizakat proved crucial to the victory.
Yeah, it was very crucial. We lost a couple of early wickets. We knew that the wicket is going to get better as we get set. So me and Kat just had a simple plan of just batting out the overs and just waiting for the bad ones and really knuckling down, and we reaped the rewards towards the end. So just happy about that.
What did you make of the wicket? Because it seemed that it was a bit hard to accelerate in those last few overs.
Yeah, it was quite tough. But then again, the longer you stay, the easier it becomes. So that's what me and Kat decided to do, and I think we did that really well. And I think the Scotland lads, had they had done that, then I reckon the game would have been a lot closer than it should have. But I think credit goes to Kat as well. He batted amazingly.
And obviously it's your highest score in one-day internationals, 97, but is there a little bit of disappointment getting run out for 97?
Yeah, it's not the first time I've been run out in ODIs. Need to sort out my calling. It was in the back of my mind, but it wasn't something that it's towards the end of the innings, get as many runs on the board as possible, and I try to go for a 2, which probably wasn't there, so yeah, it's all right. Hopefully I can repeat that again.
That proved to be, with plenty of spin options for Hong Kong, that proved to be a bit of a bonus, didn't it?
Yeah,
definitely. To Scotland, you guys with the spinners, once they took the pace off the ball, it was quite hard to score.
Yeah, it was very hard. I think Nadeem proved it. With his, he bowled fantastically well. He gave the ball a chance to spin, and it just shows how dangerous a spinner can be. And I think Scotland lads also would have benefited from a couple of spinners had they known what the wicket was like.
Looking ahead now to the second one-day, if the weather can hold out, how much confidence is this going to give the team now, given it's been a little while since you've all played together?
Oh, it's a huge confidence booster, considering, we're missing Chappie as well. He's a big blow to us. He's playing cricket in New Zealand, so, definitely it's a big moment for people to stand up and, put their hands up and give a good performance, and I think looking forward, especially in the World T20, I think this is going to give us a huge boost.
Oh, well, congratulations, Anshman. Well done today.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Max.
And all the best for the rest of the series.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. There you have an Anshman Rath, 97. Getting a warm round of applause there as Ryan comes in for his final thoughts. But excellent from Anshman Rath today.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, like I said, we always speak about partnerships, and him and Nizakat were absolutely outstanding. They set it up nicely. 259 was way too many for Scotland in the end, but you know, I think when you look at the game as a whole, I think Simon Cook would be extremely pleased with the way his side played today. The fielding was outstanding, the bowling was good, obviously the batting was okay, but there's also areas that we'll always have to improve on. Obviously that ladder order batting wasn't great, but you set your standard, and there's their standard against a very good team in Scotland. Now they have to replicate that in the next ODI on Thursday, and hopefully in the 2 T20s.
Yep, so just repeating, a 109 victory for Scotland, 259 they were dismissed for, but they bowled out Scotland for 150 to win the first one-day international in the World Cricket League Championship Series. So very warm thanks to you, Ryan, for your thoughts today. They are warm thanks because we do look forward to getting out of the cold here, and we do look forward to having plenty more live streaming coverage for the rest of this Braidwood Cup Series.
No worries, Maxie. Looking forward to Thursday and then Saturday and Sunday, buddy.
All right, goodbye for now.